Hello, friends. Welcome to another edition of HPA Global Insights. I'm your host, Jeff Crowther, the Executive Director of HPA China and HPA Global. Today, I'm happy to welcome a new friend here, Matt Legge. Matt is a naturopath for like past 30 years. He's also an industry entrepreneur in the overall health industry. And currently, he is also working in a capacity with TSI Group as an advisor of product solutions. Matt, welcome to the show. How are you?
Oh, great. Thanks, mate. Thanks for having me.
Oh, pleasure. It's awesome. So today our topic is, of course, tailored script. This is a very unique program coming out of TSI Group. I saw the kind of scaffolding, if you will, of this program a while ago, and the first thing that came to my mind was that this needs to tie in two extreme expertise areas, one being manufacturing, the other one being an expert knowledge of health and fitness or health and nutrition, I should say. And that kind of, TSI has encompassed both of those into this to make it happen. So let's get this started and kind of dig into that as a start. How does this program differ from other programs that are kind of like that customized or personalized nutrition programs?
Yep. Well, the difference between customized protocols and personalized nutrition, a simple analogy might be looking at customized protocols as ordering from a menu. I might want to have an entree, a main, and a dessert and combine them. And as we know, when we do that, there might be ingredients we don't want. There might be double up of ingredients that interact, but we're still doing the best we can from what's been available on our preset selections. With personalized nutrition, I would look at it more as having a personalized practitioner come to the table and assess your markers, your diagnostics, your allergies and intolerances, your genetics, your history, your microbiome, and then tailor making a combination of ingredients for you, specifically for you and your exact needs and requirements. So, as you mentioned, combining the technology to make that possible, then with the experience and the skills of practitioners to cover those data sets and generate a personalized prescription is quite challenging.
Yeah, I'm kind of a motorhead on the side. I like fast cars and motorcycles. So another analogy came to my mind while you were talking about this. It's kind of like customizing your car, just throwing what you think looks cool on it without actually hooking it up to a computer to see if it actually makes the car run better.
Yeah, exactly. Yep, yep.
Um, so So with that in mind, the experts you kind of touched on a little bit, what role and, approximately maybe how many expert, medical people other than yourself were involved in making this happen?
I'm not sure exactly. I've come into the process in the last couple of years as a naturopath, but we've got functional medicine practitioners from China, from America, some of the quite big, well-known names in the industry. Bob Shearer, Helen Mercier, Michael Stone, Emily Redbourne. I feel I get imposter syndrome actually in many of our meetings as just being a naturopath from Australia, rubbing shoulders with the celebrities of the industry. But AI, a lot of people think that you can do everything through AI, and it's just not smart enough yet to be able to the nuances of diagnostics and then generating formulations and the interaction and the synergy of ingredients takes. There's probably, centuries worth of experience within the combined experience within the team.
Yeah, it's quite a team. And as a true Aussie, you've knocked yourself down with your humility and being humble.
Yeah, yeah, tall poppy syndrome. We deal with that a lot in
Yep,
Australia.
exactly. Got to knock you down a rung, right?
Yeah.
Um, So this tailored script format, again, that one of the first things I saw was the delivery format of it, and being in a little pod and all that stuff. So, what makes this format for tailored script unique in the industry?
Yeah, it's actually that's what got me really excited about it. I've been friends with Joe for about 10 years, the inventor of the software and the systems and the whole platform and operating system. I'd previously tried to develop customized compounding businesses, personalized nutrition businesses previously, but I kept coming across these same challenges with inability to understand the quality control in mixing powders or just mixing liquids. Having it in this granule technology where we can have the doses in very specific increments, testable, make sure that we not only we know exactly what dose of what ingredient, where everything's tested to the highest level standards. The same people that make our TGA products are capable of sourcing these materials, running the same quality control guidelines across granulated ingredients that we can then combine with very specific dosage increments. Also, it solves a lot of the problems we had with stability, very different to just dipping in and out of a bucket of powder to combine into a product. And also, we don't have to worry about flavoring. We have little coated granules, so it actually can offset some of the flavors. So we don't have to load up the product with excessive amounts of flavors and excipients. Again, we have the stability understood, the quality control understood, the dosage increments. We have all the information we need to have the confidence that we can actually formulate a product specifically for you and know that what you're getting in each pod. So each one of these granules at this stage are dispensed into a pod, and a pod can hold the equivalent of 10 or 12 different capsules and tablets into one pod, where we have all those ingredients sitting there together. And when I say sitting there together, they're in the same pod, but they're not blended together, which also means we don't have the issues associated with interactions during bulk storage. So if there's some ingredient that might typically degrade another ingredient, if we mix them together into a powder or a liquid, in this instance, they can be in the same dose, but they can be separated into individual granules. So we have much better quality control, stability, understanding of the dosage increments, but then also we know that these products are going to be still active and effective when you actually consume them.
You'd mentioned TGA, and for those people listening, if you're
Oh,
not familiar with that, I think it's the Therapeutic Goods Administration. Is that correct?
yeah, yeah, that's right. Now
So
these,
that's
it's just one of the
Australia's kind
highest.
of like FDA,
Yeah.
kind of very stringent like GMP standards.
Yeah, yeah. So it's just Australia's famous for being over-regulated, and our regulatory body here is actually one of the toughest in the world. And it just means that we're capable of using the same sort of systems that we could use to manufacture ingredients for those particular TGA listed products. In
Mhm.
Australia, the tailored script system is not a TGA listed product. It runs through customized compounding and personalized nutrition after consultation with practitioner sign-off. And each region has different regulations, different laws that we must comply with the language we use, the way we present it, and whether we need to have practitioner sign-off, pharmacy oversight is all specific to each region. But the good thing to know is that the quality control standards that run through the business are consistent with the highest levels of standards globally.
Okay, excellent.
Mm.
Now let's kind of look from a different angle from the consumer side. How does this benefit the consumers in terms of compliance and convenience?
Yeah, it's been surprising actually. I was involved as a practitioner in doing some pilot trials directly with consumers. And some of the feedback I got was surprising. It was excellent too, actually. Compliance was excellent. One of the biggest consistent feedback I received was with this whole personalized nutrition boom or trend, or it's actually the person that's driving that. It's the consumer. As a practitioner, I'm a creature of habit. It's easy enough for me to run my same consults all the time, run through my standard process, writing my prescriptions, doing whatever. I don't really want to change if I don't have to. I'd rather just do less and make more money. It's the only thing that I do to change. But it's the consumer and the consumer access to technology, the wearable devices, the testing, the at-home testing, the information they're getting from podcasts and social media influencers and all that sort of stuff is driving this the person to request personalized nutrition. And so when you're actually working with the person and helping to design unique formulations, they take a lot more ownership of the protocols. They're a lot more engaged. It's not as if I'm saying, here, I'm Matt Legge, a famous naturopath, and you should follow my protocol that works. 60% of the time it works every time. It's like
Hmm.
this is a thing that's specifically designed for you and made for you. And so that's one of the things that the patient compliance for that, they're a lot more engaged in the process and in their health journey. And it's almost like we're working together on this. And like I said, it puts the person back in personalized nutrition is one thing that I've noticed. Then there's the other features as well, where all of a sudden they've got a whole quarter of their kitchen back, as they got rid of the 10 and 12 and all of the giant buckets of fish oils and the other powder, all these bits and pieces, the other supplements that they were taking. We've basically taken the place of 10, 12, 15 different bottles. And that's not including the ones that they started, bought a bulk buy for the perceived value of buying more than they need because it was cheaper that way, that they started taking, that their naturopath changed their prescription a month later and it's still sitting there in case they need to use it again. So having only what you need. The other thing is that when it's specifically made for them, they don't have all these double ups. We don't have like the same ingredient found across multiple supplements, which is one of those compromises. So they get that
Yeah.
understanding that what's in the pod is just what they need. There's no extra, there's not anything else like that. So the feedback has been excellent. They have a unique formula that's made for them. And the other good thing about it is it's from our system here in Australia is quite easy. Like as a practitioner, I don't need to worry about having a dispensary to hold everything and every version of every supplement. I basically send the patient orders it, it gets delivered directly to them. I get money in the bank. I got all my time back, all my capital expenditure back. I don't have to worry about all the resources for that. And the
Hmm.
customer prefers it because they don't have one bucket of supplement that lasts them 3 months, another one that lasts 10 days, and they don't have to go from one. I can't necessarily in my clinic supply everything. So I'd supply what I can, then they're off to the pharmacy or off online purchasing the other stuff that I couldn't supply. So it makes everything more more efficient. And that was something that they valued because they got so sick. Actually, when I first started doing this, I had to roll it in gradually because I realized there were so many people had such an abundance of stock sitting at home that they wanted to work through before they started something. So we actually had to run the first few consultations going, right, well, let's finish off all this stuff that you've got sitting on the bench. And then what we'll do is we'll start with this concise, beautiful system where now all they've got is a box sitting on the bench that looks nice and they take a pod a day and it's their pod. And
Hmm.
then we change it. Next month we come back, review their symptoms, see if they're progressing, chop and change the ingredients, and it just goes back to a new unique formula for them each month that they take that's specifically theirs.
Yeah, I thought as you were saying all that, I thought you had secretly snuck in my house and looked in my pantry, because I've I've been in this industry 30 years now, and I am a vitamin advocate and do have a small vitamin store inside my pantry there. Now, you
Mm.
did mention, like, in one pod we can have about 10 or 12 capsules, the equivalent of. So that would lead me to my next question is, not only is this going to save space in someone's kitchen, but is it cost effective for them? Where is that kind of lie, that barometer?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So we have done some work where we've gone and compared top selling protocols, like a typical fat loss stack or something like that, compared to building those things into the pods. And yeah, it's definitely possible to save a lot of money. There's also that perceived value, as I mentioned earlier, of buying bulk and then not finishing anything. So yeah, you might be able to buy some ingredients ridiculously cheap if you buy so much, but by the time you actually get through it, it's all gone off. And the other pattern that I noticed when dealing with the transition phase over to the personalized nutrition powered by tailored script was the amount of people that had so many supplements sitting there that had either expired or had never been used. But the ones that they actually needed to take, that they were taken regularly, had all run out. So something it's that perceived, it's that wastage as well that you remove.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So I saw that some some write-ups describing tailored script as is not just a product, but it's a platform. Can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, yeah. Let's So it's a basically we're building, and this is a constantly evolving a tool as well. So it's constantly learning new stuff. We're building in new features, and as we learn from our partners what they need and how we can help, we build those things as well. So it's almost like a an operating system or a platform. We're basically in partner powered by tailored script means something different to everyone from a consumer perspective, as we talked about personalized nutrition. But for each business, it can also be tailored personally to that business and those requirements as well. So we can assist with the direct to consumer interface. We can then work with you on the diagnostics, the ability to profile the customer, depending on whether you're a naturopath that is basically profiling subclinical imbalances using a symptom picture questionnaire through to microbiome, um, diagnostics, gene testing, biomarkers that you might require pathology or doctors' clinics to enter, and that goes through to generating personalized prescriptions and formulations that have been um, helped developed by all those naturopathic experts we talked about. So again, with that operating system, the leverage you get, there's no way a clinic or a naturopath could have resources or access to the quality of the global team of experts that's behind the scenes to build this technology to not only help interpret the diagnostics into recommended ingredients, but then also provide those ingredients with the tech data that we supply and the root cause analysis information that you can use to educate yourself and then educate your consumer and everything as well. So it covers so much of the process through. And it doesn't matter whether you're a specialist or a generalist, meaning a specialist that might specialize in heart health or typically have heart protocols, or if we're a generalist that is dealing with the subclinical imbalances associated with 80% of the population that just constantly wants to feel a bit better and knows that something not quite right, but has not yet got into a diagnosed disease state. It's really the thing is, as Joe invented, it was originally inspired by a lot of the TCM, where he saw the Chinese medicine practitioners going and taking little bits of ingredients from each drawer. But it also has that ability for us to use that TCM or that naturopathic paradigm where we can treat people and not just treat diseases. So with a lot of the other industry out there, a lot of products, as you mentioned, might be focused on heart health formula or, brain health formula or something like that. But personalized nutrition, it does follow that naturopathic paradigm of you treat people, not diseases. And we can have that within our platform and within our operating system. We have the ability to profile your strengths and weaknesses and then help generate a personalized prescription for the person, not just a supplement or a protocol that a specialist might utilize for a disease state.
Yeah, and so those people that are watching this are probably wondering, where can they access this? So is Tailored Script looking to partner with or work with just physicians, or is it what kind of partners is the program going to be looking for in the future?
Yeah, at this state, it does depend on each region. So every country has a different regulation. So here in Australia, we have a couple of major partners. We have some that work with medical doctors, works like a telehealth style system and a diagnostics and profiling through the diagnostics, and then having the medical doctors do it. And then we have another group that's targeting specifically via the practitioners in regards to the naturopaths. So it's very different in Australia where we'll have naturopaths that aren't allowed to really diagnose, treat, or cure, and they work into that subclinical state. We have some partners focusing there and others that are working on medical with the medical doctors. Over in the United States, we have medical centers and that sort of stuff. In China, most of it's working through doctors. So,
And
yeah,
is
I
is
don't do too much of the business development side, to be honest. So there's probably someone that might have more information about that and those sort of things. I'm pretty much working behind the scenes as a practitioner, supporting our partners once they're recruited and on board.
Yeah, so I mean, I'll put the website, at the end here so people can check out the Taylor Script website for
Mm.
themselves. But yeah, if you happen to be, living in Australia and lucky, you've got access to this already, correct?
Yeah, yeah, it's just launching now, and first boxes are rolling out. But we have been working on behind the scenes for quite a while, making sure that the ability for the diagnostic systems and the generation of the prescriptions and the creation of all the content and data is all accurate and reliable and working beautifully. It's quite a complicated interface when you consider the link directly, to the consumer via the third party business development, the ability to then generate those reports, recommendations to facilitate the creation of a prescription to then get that to a compounding chemist. In Australia, we have the practitioner sign off, and then we have a compounding chemist that puts it all together and has another double check looking for interactions. Um, allergies or anything else, making sure it's all compliant and ticked off and signed off before dispensing out directly to the patient. And the pharmacy compounding business and that sort of stuff is booming in Australia
Yeah.
because of the desire from the person for personalized nutrition. It's the
Mm.
consumers that are really driving the whole personalized nutrition. We always talk about that Kodak moment, where this is this is the time that we've got to look towards the future of medicine because the consumers are demanding it. And so that's why it's so important to really look at this now. And if you see the compounding chemists, the way that they are just thriving with making unique formulations for people upon prescription after a consultation from a medical practitioner, but this solved a lot of the problems because, like I said previously, I tried to set up compounding businesses for nutraceuticals previously. It's easy if you're doing a single ingredient in a capsule, but as soon as you start combining ingredients and trying to generate unique formulas in a powder or liquid, or even sticking them all together into a capsule, the challenges that you come across with that in regards to quality control, stability, and really not understanding what you have in each dose it makes you a nervous wreck. You can't really proceed too far down that pathway. You end up just doing singles, which means you're doing, you want 50 ingredients, you've got 50 different products. So,
Yeah. And then you're letting
mm,
your patient, your client go off to a third party and you don't know exactly what they're going to give them in
yeah,
terms of
exactly.
quality or, cost or any of that stuff.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
So this tailored script kind of fixes that for you and you know exactly as a partner what you're doing and what the consumer's getting. That's great.
Yeah, yeah. And it's really handy too, because when you look at the way the system goes, if we're looking at that full loop where we're collecting you're doing the diagnostic data, you're doing your consultations, collecting all that relevant information, that data is really only useful if you're learning from it. And what makes it useful is it's got to be scalable, it's got to be reproducible, it's also got to be changeable, and all that's great. But what we want to know is that change could be attributable to our intervention. So then when we actually prescribe a product that's within that loop and we understand what ingredients and nutrients that they've had, and then we get them to redo the testing and see the changes that have occurred in that allows us to actually assess the efficacy of the protocols, adjust and refine and continually improve without just, like I said earlier, like without just having a standard protocol that 60% of the time it works every time. We are looking at a unique formulation and it can constantly change as we learn and work out what's working.
Mhm.
So,
That's awesome. Well,
mm,
Matt, thank you so much. I don't want to steal too much more of your time. That was an amazing discussion, and I was really looking forward to this because I wanted to learn more about this whole tailored script program. and where it's at. And I'm glad to see you're utilizing it in Australia. Patients and clients and consumers are already benefiting from it. So that's amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, as I said, we're always learning and it's always improving and constantly changing. So I'm always here if we want to have an updated chat later.
Okay, excellent. All right, man. Well, take care. Thanks again for all your insights and time. And that's it for this show. Thanks for watching. I will put a kind of email and website address at the end of this so you can look things up on your own. And that's it. Thank you for joining, and we'll see you again next time. Bye bye. Thanks for tuning in to HPA Global Insights. Please like, subscribe, and share with your colleagues. Any questions or suggestions, please email us at info@hpachina.org. HPA Global Insights is a nonprofit organization focused on the overall global dietary supplement industry. Please consider joining the association and supporting its endeavors. Your support is very much appreciated. Until next time, take care.